The following is a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.
One of my best buds. I am so blessed to be doing a radio show and have a radio company, TKR, where I just get to sit around all day and do podcasts with some of my best buds. And Mark Ingram is certainly that guy, athletic director for the UAB Blazers. This is called the UAB Director's Chair. We've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years. Mark, how you doing? How's the New Year treating you so far? Good?
Outstanding. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too. The first thing I do before we get set, by the way, I have a classic rock question
Put it
I'm
on
going to
me.
ask you that is just crazy.
Okay.
At the end, that everyone needs to listen to. If you're a classic rock fan, you're going to love this question, and I can't wait to hear your answer. We'll get it in about 20 or 25 minutes. I usually put college sports in my Google search engine there, and I hit news and just see what's going on in the world of college sports because you're an athletic director. We can talk X and O's with anyone else. And the first story I see is coming from the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. He has issued the following statement regarding sports betting indictments in college athletics. I'm sure you've seen this. Protecting competition integrity is the utmost importance to the NCAA. We are thankful for law enforcement agencies working to detect and combat integrity issues and match manipulation in college sports. Pattern of college basketball game integrity conduct revealed by law enforcement today is not entirely new information. Through helpful collaboration with the industry regulators, we have finished or have open investigations into almost all the teams in today's indictment. Enforcement staff has opened sports betting integrity investigations into approximately 40 student athletes from 20 schools over the past year. Then it goes on to mention that 7 schools have recently found to have been betting on their own performances, shared information with known bettors, and are engaged in game manipulation to collect on bets. You knew this was coming. And now there's this thing. What's it called? Poly Market or something? It's a betting source where you can bet on anything. It's just a prop bet thing. You can bet on whether DeSantos will say the word "son" during his speech today. I mean, there's all kinds. It's just a whole prop bet thing. And one of those is a company, and I don't even want to mention. It's not Kalshi. I don't want to mention the company because I don't want to give them any pub. But it's a company that just does transfers. They're going to do all transfers. That you can bet on your favorite players transferring. Where will they transfer? How soon will they transfer? How many times will they transfer? How long will they play? Yeah, I mean, whatever we can gamble on, man. Whatever we can make money on is what we're doing. Scares the bejeebers out of me.
Yeah, me too.
Listen, I'm 60 years old in March. I've certainly had some action on some games. I've put a little wager on some things when I go see ball games, and even before it was legalized, and it certainly isn't here in Alabama yet. But what's your overall thoughts as an athletic director, knowing that this is actually happening? And when I see 7 kids betting on their own performances, that scares me.
Yeah, I think that look, I don't gamble, and it's not because I'm, morally opposed or anything. I'm not good at it, and I've never been a good card player or any of those kind of things. So that's why I don't do it, and I don't like to lose my money. So that's a bad combination, being bad at these things
Yeah.
and having a fear of losing money. But but my point is, I don't think that people that gamble or bet on games are, bad people or anything. I just want to try to make that clear.
Sure.
But I think that by introducing all these things, our athletes have always been susceptible to this. But I think the more it's become legalized, the more it's become normalized and accepted, and thus it makes it a more normal, comfortable conversation that people are having with these kids, and I think these student athletes are being preyed upon. I think there are a lot of really, I don't know, they're predators is what they are, but they're people that they're very convincing. You're never going to get caught or whatever, And so there's kids they bet on things just through like a legal gambling site, and they don't think it's any big deal. They get in trouble, or a person approaches them and says, "Hey man, if you'll help fix this game, we're going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to share it with you, whatever." And they think it's not going to happen, and then, well, I mean, the FBI and CIA and these people. It's going to be a sad situation
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And then, of course, the schools will all get wrapped up in it. And but it's just ugly news, for the association of that institution.
It really is. And it's weird because you're like, so a guy comes up and says, "Hey, Miss, and I know you can go for 25 any night you want. Let's make it under 25 tonight. I'll give you $500 to throw the game."
Yeah.
And again, and you think, well, golly, these guys are making millions of dollars now. What's $500? Well, not everyone's making that kind of money.
Well,
And
they're
and
not all
again,
making it, and it just started.
but the part
Yeah.
that really bothers me, and I've seen these commercials run by the NCAA, are the bullying and the
Oh, yeah.
life threats on
Oh,
these
yeah.
kids. Because if
Yeah.
this is something that you're consuming yourself with and you're agreeing to do it, look out, because there's a lot of people that listen. Anytime you're gambling on an 18-year-old, you don't know what they did last night. You don't know what they're going through with their girlfriend. You
That's
don't know how
right.
they travel, and you're betting your hard-earned money. I mean, that's on you. You're betting
Well, and
her money on Saturdays on
people get in tough situations, and this is whether they're young people or old people. People sometimes make risky financial decisions that don't work out, and then they find themselves in a sense of panic. And then they do something thinking it will fix it, but it only
yeah.
makes it worse. I mean, this is a tale as old as time, and in some cases, this is it. So exactly
And
what
it's
you just
another
said.
reason why players listen. I'm just you do what you got to do. That's why players shouldn't ever gamble on anything. I'm not talking about themselves or anyone else, because if you do get down and you have leverage, that guy's going to come to you and say, "Listen, you owe me $2,000, but it's going to go away if you can go under 16 tonight."
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it works. And so it's just, please be careful. I hate it because I mean, I knew what I was like, 18-year-old with money.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got my paycheck and I was working three jobs, and I certainly I was making 30 something $1,000 a year. I always thought that if I made $1,000 for every year of my age, I would be rich.
Oh, yeah.
I turned 60 this year, and I can tell you right now, 60 grand
That ain't cutting it.
60 grand ain't cutting it, brother. So we're
No.
all looking for ways to make a little
Life is
supplementary
expensive.
income on the
Kids are
side. So,
expensive. Yeah.
yeah, keep that in mind. Also, the annual NCAA conference is going on this week up in Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. And I know that Greg Sankey's had several things to say about that. Everyone wants to see what he's going to say because, well, it's his way and the Big Tens and everyone else's. And it seems like he is pulled back a little bit on the total autonomy, if you will, of the two conferences. Now having this breakaway situation where we have these massive super conferences and everything else, he said, "I'm not sure if that would be really a smart thing for anybody." So it seems like he's crabbing back a little bit, doing the crab walk. But what do you expect to come out of those meetings? Is there anything in particular that you feel like needs to be addressed immediately because it's just wide open right now, man?
Yeah, I have attended the NCAA convention before. Well, it's interesting. It's where all of Division Two and Division Three does their voting for the entire year. So they do all of their rule voting at the convention. So when you go, what's if you're me, there are other conventions I go to, and I feel like I know everybody in the building, and there's 10,000 people there, and I feel like I know everybody.
Yeah,
This is the opposite. There's 10 or 20,000 people there, and I know three of them. It's really different. But there are some committees, if you're on an NCAA committee, which I've served on before, they will sometimes meet as part of the convention. Um, what needs to come out of it is conversations around are they going to expand the basketball tournament or not? And by gosh, when are they going to do it? And and then the other things that they're not going to address, but that have to happen through the football oversight committee are around the calendar, the football calendar. I'm a big proponent of changing the calendar. I think with all the challenges we have around transfer rules and whether or not the federal government will allow us to enforce our rules. People pick on the NCAA because they're not enforcing rules. Well, that's because every time they try to enforce a rule, somebody files a lawsuit and they find a sympathetic judge in their home state
yeah,
to overrule the NCAA, who is not, we don't have laws, we have bylaws. And you either follow them or you don't follow them. So we need some ability to enforce our own rules, but that's not going to happen at the convention. But the calendar issue, and what I mean by that is you got to look at the bowl calendar, you got to look at the playoff calendar, when do we have signing days, transfer portal, all that kind of thing. And I think we could solve a lot of problems that we have, not every problem. We could solve a lot of problems. I like that we moved to one transfer portal because coaches were like, look, we go through spring practice and then some number of players leave at the end of the spring and it's not enough time. I get that. But what's now happening that I think is worse is you have players opting out of bowl games because they're going to get in the portal. You
Mhm.
know, we had started to see players opting out of bowl games because they were seniors and they didn't want to get hurt and they were real draft prospects. And I'll just say I don't like that either, but that is what it is. But when you have kids and their team is even in the college football playoff, there's a kid at Oregon, I think it was, that got into the portal and
Yeah,
didn't
Lamar.
opted
Yeah.
out of their semifinal game that which they lost. And I don't know, well, how much of a factor he would have played. But the point is that you're still playing football. You're in the middle of the year, and like in the NFL, you can't do that. You can't. First of all, you can't move around as freely as we do here because you're under contract. But you certainly couldn't leave in the middle of the season. You could, well, there's a trade window, but like it wouldn't be in the playoffs. It's
Yeah.
not during the playoffs at the end of in the championship season. And so here's what you do. You stop having the December signing day, which is really only for high school kids and really for high school kids who want to come in January.
Mhm.
That's an incredibly small number of people. Even if Georgia has 25 of them this year, and I think they do, that's not really the model. That
And
that
and
you're
and, and by stopping the signing day in December, what does that do?
Well, schools like us who made a change in the middle of the season because we had to get in front of recruiting, feel less inclined to do that
Yeah.
because when you do it, I can tell you personally, and I know that I'm speaking for anybody else in my situation, none of us think that we're giving up on the season for the existing team, but that is a message you are sending, whether you intend to or not.
Yep.
And so we too frequently think about recruits or the next player and not enough about the ones we have right now. And so the experience of the team that we have right now is critically important, and we don't pay enough attention to that on this topic. So December signing day goes away. Well, so now there's a little pressure off of that immediate need. Now, then I say you keep the one portal window, but you make it the spring.
Yep.
And some coaches will dislike that, but here's the value in that. Again, I wouldn't be so panicked and worried about trying to get coaches in and settled and recruiting because of this January 2nd portal date. If the portal date wasn't until called the end of April, coaches could come in, they could, we'd have time to get the staff together. Anybody that was playing in a bowl game, they could do that. The staff could do that, even with like the Lane Kiffin situation, with
Mhm.
all the grief he got for leaving Ole Miss and going to LSU. He could have stayed at Ole Miss.
Yep.
And then that hire could have occurred now, and it would not have impacted them at all. And so you go back to the old February signing day, and it doesn't have to be the first Wednesday. Why does it have to be the first Wednesday? It could be the third Wednesday. It could be March signing day for high school kids, for the high school seniors that are going to come next year. Okay, so you don't and so here's the deal in spring practice and the spring portal. You don't have spring practice. You don't have it. You just train. Just train and go to school in the spring. Kids want to be college students anyway. Train and go to school.
Spring has turned into, I mean, we don't even have spring games
But
anymore. So
now
see,
they're
yeah.
all here in June and July anyway.
Yeah.
Do those practices in June and July. Say we're going to have 15 what we call OTAs, nice, good looking OTAs, official team activities. We're going to do that in the summer, June, July, and that fixes that. Listen, it's not perfect, but it'd be a lot better than what we have right now.
There's no
And so
doubt.
things like that, coming back to your question, that's long-winded, are what hopefully are being discussed at the convention. But I know the basketball tournament expansion has been a big, big part of it.
UAB athletic director Mark Ingram joins us here for the UAB Director Share. What is the holdup on expansion? It's funny because I don't think people get it. Like they're going to expand that. And I keep telling people at the starting lineup, I'm doing our TV show, and which you've been on, and you'll be back on whenever you want to come on. And they're like, we don't need any more. And I'm like, listen, of all the sports, it's only like 11% of all the teams make it
Yeah,
in, and it's the
it's
lowest
not enough.
percentage of anything. I mean,
It's
in the
not
NBA,
enough.
hell, a third of the teams make it. It's not, and the
Yeah,
more the merrier. I mean,
right,
of all of the sports to have it in, or Cinderella, the name Cinderella is only
right.
said once a year, and that is in March. So what's the holdup?
Um, well, just like the people that you're talking about on your TV show that say don't do it, there's enough people, particularly at the P4 level, that don't want it. They don't want us in it. They don't want us in that tournament because they know that we could beat them. They can't afford that.
That's
They can't
ridiculous.
afford to lose to Cinderella. Like all of us as fans love watching it, and the Cinderella games are, in a lot of ways, the most fun to watch. And seeing the St. Peter's Peacocks make a run is a blast. And as much as people want to belittle the small schools, Villanova's pretty darn good
Hmm.
and has proven that by winning the whole thing. And Villanova is basically Samford,
Yeah,
and we live down in Alabama. We don't know that. I lived 4 miles from Villanova. It is Sanford. I'm just telling you.
yeah.
The Pete Hanna Center is 10 times as nice as Villanova's arena. But Villanova is in the Northeast. They have a big fan following. They play half their games where the 76ers play, the Wells Fargo Center, because they get that many fans. So my point is, it's just a small private community school, but poof, they win the whole thing. And that's what makes the sport great. And you said it best at the beginning, which is the representation in the tournament is too small. I would say you eliminate the NIT, and instead of having 68, what you have is 64 plus the four in that first four.
Hmm.
Don't have the first four. Just double the 64, go to 128. It's only one game.
Yeah.
Getting from 128 to 64 is only one game. You play it on our campuses because people go, where do we play the game? We play it on the campuses. And now some people go, oh, that'd be impossible. Well, the NIT does it.
Yeah.
So we're saying that the NIT can figure this out, but the NCAA can't figure this out. That's ridiculous.
I do.
Well,
I
what
do.
about
I will say
travel?
I
Well,
do
if the
like.
NIT
Yeah.
wasn't traveling teams around, we could travel everybody.
Yeah.
It's we make
Uh,
we can
I
do
will.
anything we want to do,
I will
Tony.
say I do like I like this first four in Dayton just because it's up the
Yeah, you
street from
still
where I
have
used to
it.
live. Yeah, you can still have
You
it.
still have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But it would be 64 games instead of two.
Yeah. I don't know who in the right mind would not want to see that happen. I mean, anytime you get a chance to continue your season and
Everybody would want that.
keep your fan base involved,
And it
even
would
longer the
still
season.
be a lower population, a lower percentage of people going to that postseason than what we have in
Woo,
football.
think
There's
about that.
80.
Think about that bracket, my friend. Woo, that thing would be like you'd have to write it on the side of a wall. It would be
No,
huge.
what
It'd
I'm
be
saying
awesome.
is there's like 86 or 88 teams that go to bowl games out of 135.
Yeah,
Okay. In basketball, there's 68 that go to the NCAA tournament
out of
out of
340 something. Yeah,
353.
yeah, that's ridiculous. More teams should go. Hang some
And
banners.
and, and the coaches, in fairness to the coaches, which nobody ever wants because they're so well paid, people go, I don't care. Like your success as a coach is largely predicated on did you or did you not get to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah.
And so I just think that for momentum for all of our programs, being in it, having a chance, and the excitement around it, I just don't understand the reason. And I love hearing these guys, and it's just a total made up excuse. Well, we got to pay attention to the Masters weekend.
Oh,
It's the
whatever. Get
following
out of
that
here.
is Tony.
Has nothing to do with anything. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, the truth is, yes, you do have to obey that. But why that's bogus is you could if that was really the issue, we could move the basketball season up 3 days. You saying we
Yeah,
can't move
that's
the
a
basketball season up and start game one 3 days
yeah.
sooner and then problem solved?
That's not even a case for me.
That's
This
right.
could be the last show we do before the national championship game coming up on Monday night on the 19th. Miami to Indiana, and I bring this up because we have been talking about gambling. That line was 6.5. It seems like everyone and their mother's loving Indiana. I think it's up to like 8.5 or 9 right now, which I think is really interesting. Miami, of course, the 10 seed. Very interesting story to have a 10 seed out of 12 teams actually going, and they're getting hot at the right time. And of course, we know their quarterback has already won a natty. He did that with Georgia as a backup quarterback 3 years ago. And here we at Fernando Mendoza, of the Heisman Trophy winner. Who do you have winning this football game on Monday night, and why?
Well, I thought that Carson Beck played like Carson Beck the other night. He looked like the player that people talk about him being. He played a lot better game. Miami played a lot better game. They have really impressed me over their last couple of wins. Just played better football than I think than even they had during the regular season. Uh, but I got to tell you, Indiana, their dominance the other night. I was stunned by. I mean,
Mhm.
I thought they would win the game. You asked me last week, I think, and I said I thought they would win the game. Um, I didn't think it'd be like that. I didn't think it'd be like
They
that. So
do not make
I don't
mistakes.
know how
Yeah.
you go against Indiana. They're just so consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make penalties. They stay in front of the chains. They just do everything right.
They do everything
And
right.
they're really hard to get flustered too. What I don't think people out remember, they got 47 seniors from last year that are still on this team.
Yeah,
They've got a lot of good leadership, and I don't
right.
think we say enough about guys that have been around the ball for a while. And they had a hell of a team last year, and a lot of people don't remember that they Signetti's had quite the spin the last couple of years at Indiana.
Yeah.
So he's done a fantastic job. All right, so you like in Indiana? I'm assuming in the game. I hope it's competitive. But something tells me if Miami gets down early in this game, it could be a bloodbath. Just because
Yeah,
Indiana's a
but
machine.
they've
They're a
got a lot of
machine.
firepower. I
Yep.
mean, they got that freshman receiver that was just
Malachi Tony's
so
been an
good.
unbelievable piece too. He's just
Golly,
unbelievable.
he's exciting to
Yeah,
watch.
he is going to be something else at the next level.
And they're strong up front on both sides of the
Yeah,
ball.
you know who Vinnie Vincent is, right? Of course you do. The ex Kiss member.
Oh, yeah.
Uh huh. He's got a brand new record coming out called Judgment Day Guitar Mageddon. And he says it is the greatest album of all time.
Oh, that's a statement, Vinny.
There are 18 cuts on this album. It's the greatest album that's ever been made. It's got a collaboration with a bunch of different people on it, including Robert Fleshman, formerly of Journey. It's got Kerry Jordan on drums. Robert Fleshman, of course, was one of the vocals on Journey, so you know it's got the first single is called "Ride the Serpent." Okay,
Okay.
um, so he's doing something a little different. He is going to controversially offer fans collector singles as individually signed and numbered CDs, each costing $200 plus shipping.
Okay.
So you can buy the album one song at a time at 200 bucks a pop. And he'll only release the singles until he's got 1,000 pre-sales.
Now look.
So 200,000 bucks. He said this is the deal. There's no money in record labels. They're a dead end, he wrote on Facebook. Unless I get compensated for my work, the album stays unheard. The praise from a fan base is pointless unless I'm compensated first. I'm the manufacturer. I produce high-end product. I set the price accordingly. It's that simple. There's no argument here. There's no discussion. I've created an elite product for elite taste. So for the smash and grab EBT card group or self-entitled complainers bitching about price, F off. So it comes down to this. If the fan support is not there, which it does not appear to be, this record will not be released. Am I
Mm,
fine with that? Absolutely 100%. It will be the greatest album of all time, never to be heard, never to be released. If people want my music and think they're punishing me by not buying it because of the price, it matters not to me. They're the ones who will lose out. Is there any artist, dead or alive, knowing that you would be the only one to hear it, that you'd be willing to spend $200 to listen to it? If it is, who would it be?
oh, yeah. I mean, it's not Vinnie Vincent. You
I know.
know,
I'm thinking to myself if like Eric Clapton did this, or it is a very interesting way of making a living. I don't know if Vinnie Vincent needs the money. I don't know what his issue is. But I do know that because of sharing and everything else, there's a lot of ways to rip off an artist, and
sure.
they're not making their money. By the time I'm part of this deal
They
where I
make
have to
money by
write
touring now.
I have
Yeah.
to write money I had to write an exchange check to sound exchange every single month for every song I play. It's a pain in the butt. And then by the time everyone takes their little piece of the action, the artist gets a check for 17 bucks. It's kind of like a waitress, getting her check at the end of the week. She
Right.
usually lays the trash. But I was trying to think, is there anybody out there that I would be willing to pay 200 bucks to hear like a special song just for me? And I think there's several I would probably do that for. But
Sure.
yeah, 3,600 bucks to get his latest album from top to bottom. I'm not sure I'd be willing to kind of spend that money. And then, by the
I
way, the
wouldn't.
first single, by the way, is 8 minutes long.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see myself doing that for a song or two, but not 18 songs for anybody, for me personally. And yeah, that's tough, Vinny. Good luck, man.
That's
I don't know that that quote is inspiring sales either.
No, well, he said it looks like it's not going to happen, so he doesn't really give a rip.
Yeah.
But I mean, But here's the deal, Mark. Why do you write the music? Why do you play the music? Why do you produce the music? You do it so your
To
fans
play it for
can hear
yourself.
it. So you,
Yeah,
yeah, to play for yourself. I mean, you're doing it, and of course, Fleshman's going to want to get paid. Everyone's going to want to make some
right,
money off this thing. So then they're not
right.
doing this 18. So, but it does make you wonder because I think in 15, 20 years, maybe we'll look back on that and people want to hear this thing, and maybe
Yeah,
it'll sound. But he says, let get a load of this. This is what he's comparing it to. Vinnie Vincent is his invasion. He doubled down on his boast, comparing it Guitar Armageddon to legendary albums like Meet the Beatles, Led Zeppelin II, Jimi Hendrix's Are You Experienced, Jeff Beck's Truth, and Cream's Wheel of Fire. He said
that's great.
it's right there with those albums.
I'm sure that it is.
It does make me want to hear it. I mean, I like to buy one single, just one.
I mean,
Maybe I could push
I'd
it out there
listen
to
to
get a
it, but
thousand pre-sales and just hear. I like to hear the one song, just because I think after one song you get the gist. Okay, if it's an 8-minute song called "Ride the Serpent," you'd know whether it was good or not.
right.
You know what I mean? After
Yeah.
that, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty good. All right, my man.
You ought to hear Zach Wild's new album from Black Label Society. It's great.
What is it again?
Zach Wild's band, Black Label Society. You need to listen to that. It's great.
All right, I'll do it. Black Label Society. I'll do it. I'll check it out. All right, UABsports.com for all things. You have a basketball game on Sunday, 2
Against
o'clock.
Tulsa, 2 o'clock. They're 13-3, I believe, right now.
Woo, they're
Tulsa's
good.
tough. Another
Yeah,
great win for us on the road last night against Tulane. We played really well on the road. Three
yep.
straight road wins, hard fought wins. Those guys are gritty. We, for some strange reason, have struggled at home a little bit, but yeah, need the fans there, man. Need to really show our support for Andy and that team because I think they've got a lot of moxie with them and a lot of grit. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are indeed. All right, thank you, my friend. We'll catch them next week.
All right, pal. Thank you.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.